Hey, what is going on? We are back with an all new episode of One on One with Courtney Starks. Welcome, you guys. As you are coming in, thank you so much for being here. This is episode, I don't know, I've lost count, but we're here. We're back, and we're ready to bring on more conversations. We are going to have a special guest of mine, shall I say, on this live. I'm super excited to have her. You don't even understand. She has really been a true supporter. She has definitely held it down. Her name is Lisa Stevenson. She's an author. She is now a founder and CEO of She's Single magazine. And I can't wait for us to get the opportunity to speak with her. Just kind of figure out where did she get this creativity to even go down this journey and become an author and then start this new venture, which for me would be very scary. But she tackles these things head on. So I'm just waiting for her to join us, and I believe she's about to come on. We'll get her on, and then we will get things started. Oh, she's here. She's here. Nice. All right, Lise, we're about to get you in right now. Do I do it this way? Okay. Are you with us?
I am.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. How
It's
is everything?
so good to see you again.
Likewise.
I was just ranting and raving about just how much support you've shown us from season 1 till now. So you've definitely been a part of the Courtney's Corner brand since 2018. So I definitely appreciate you.
Absolutely. Likewise.
Thank
Likewise.
you. How are you coping? How has these last few months been for you?
Oh man, I have a headache.
No,
like
I
I just
understand.
um I mean it's just everything is just changing every day because so many different things get added to my plate every day, but then it's
Hmm.
like what used to be my outlet, which is to go outside and to see my
Right.
friends and things like that. I don't have that anymore. So it's like
Mhm.
I'm trying to find new ways to stay sane and to keep myself occupied and to just keep
Yeah.
myself happy. But
Yeah.
it's been rough. It's
And I
been rough.
think
I
that
can't lie.
people don't realize that not everybody is used to just being able to talk to people on a phone
Yeah,
or through Zoom or whatever. Like
yeah,
that personal contact is very important, and when it's taken away, especially when you feel like it's just snatched from you,
yeah,
you're just like,
yeah.
I don't want to do this. You know
I
what I mean?
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
So
But you know,
So were you still able to work, or was everything kind of slowed down for you during this process?
so we are able to work, thank God, as far as just continuing to build the brand, and of course get the magazine out and things like that. I still was able to do that. The only thing that's really slowed is that we really wanted to work with a lot of African American small businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and it was unfortunate because a lot of them they're they're they weren't really prepared, I want to say, for an opportunity like this, to be featured in a publication, because they have to have their media kits, they have to have their
Yeah.
logos, their photos, lifestyle photos, white background photos, transparent photos, and a lot of them don't have it.
Uh-huh.
So, one of the things that we were really doing is we're trying to say, okay, well, we'll assist you guys with this. We'll help you. Let us know what you guys need us to do. And, some of them, they are consistent, some of them are not. And, we really wanted to make a huge impact within the community and get more small businesses, African American businesses, in front of, our readers,
Yeah.
because we're going on national newsstands, in only a few weeks. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's really important that, since we're going to be sitting next to, Vogue, we're sitting next to Cosmopolitan, we're sitting next to Essence Magazine, it's really important that we get some of these small businesses in the publication.
Yeah.
So I think that's been like the greatest challenge, just trying to really get them on board.
Mm-hmm. I also think that it also has to do with who you are and then the lack of support.
Yeah.
Like in their minds, it's not, you are just kind of starting off this venture. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like sketchy. Like, should we join it? Is it legit? Is it
Mm-hmm.
worth kind of taking that next step on? Versus if it was Forbes or
Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
then it's like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I discussed this earlier, just
Mm-hmm.
about people's lack of support. But I
Yeah.
definitely want everybody, welcome everybody who is joining in. Definitely happy to have you. And I know this happens every week where we start up small and then we end up huge. So I salute all of you guys coming in right now. For those of you who did not hear my introduction, this is Lisa K. Stevenson. She's a well-known author and now a founder and editor-in-chief of She's Single magazine. For those of you who heard the promos during the week, I also said that she had been rocking with me since season 1, guys. Season 1, which started in 2018. Literally was in some busted down,
Hi, Sheeta.
some busted down room somewhere in Williamsburg, and it was hot, and it was just a lot. And she still came through, and we had a good time. And I have to say, at least that was our highest rated episode
Oh,
ever.
wow.
Codependent. I
Yes.
think also too because codependency was such a big topic, and you and
Yeah.
I were like
Yeah.
going head for head.
We
And
were.
it was
We
definitely,
were.
it was
We
definitely,
definitely were.
it was definitely an amazing episode. So once again, I thank you. And then she's come on again for season 2 when we did women empowerment. I just think
Yes.
who you are kind of reflects, empowering women in all
Yeah.
that you do. I feel like
Yeah.
even in your books, even in this magazine, you are empowering other strong Black women to be better, to do better, to want better. And for that, we
Absolutely.
appreciate you. We love you for that. Let's just
Thank
take it
you.
back just a little bit. How did you get started? Or what made you realize that this was a passion, writing? Where did that come from for you?
Oh man. So I started writing when I was taking a creative writing class in college, and
Mm-hmm.
our assignment was to write a short story. So I wrote a short story called Nikki, and it was
Mm-hmm.
pretty much about a 15-year-old girl who was having an affair with her father.
Whew.
And my professor, he reads it and he's just like, when he first read it, before he distributed to the class and things like that, he actually called me one side and asked me if I needed a counselor. And
Whoa.
yeah, he was like, "Do you need a counselor?" He was like, "We have counselors on campus." And I was just like, "No." And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, I just, the story." He was like, "I love the story. I think it's written so well. I thought it was more of like a biography type of
Uh-huh.
story." And I was like, "No, I wouldn't sleep with my dad." Like, so it's like, this guy is bugging.
Yes, he was
But
trying to catch you, like
he
so.
was. He was. But after that, he loved the story so much, and he asked me, if he could use it as an example, for the rest of his classes. So
Mm-hmm.
I took that as a huge compliment. I was like, yeah, of course. And from there, I started working on my debut novel, which is Borderline. And I don't know, I really love to write. And then I went through that period of my life where, I was kind of depressed after that breakup, where
Yeah.
the cheating and the baby and all of that stuff. So I wrote about it. And,
Mm-hmm.
my ex at that time, him and I, we were like very combative with each
Yeah.
other. And he was just being, very heartless about the situation. And so I wanted to make myself feel better because he obviously didn't have any remorse.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote a book about it, and then people loved it. And then next
Yes.
thing I know, I was doing some seminars at some colleges, and from there, I was just like, I want to reach more women.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, writing books, it's great, it's amazing, but we're not really reaching as many women as I think we should reach.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was like, okay, we need something a little bit more entertaining, something a little bit more contemporary, something that we know people are going to gravitate to. And then
Mm-hmm.
this is where the magazine came into play.
Okay. So you were saying that the support in the
Mm-hmm.
books weren't being kind of like reciprocated. You didn't really see, and you didn't really see much traction coming in from it. Do you think that it was just because, you know, of the jealousy between amongst women, or did you feel like people were just not willing to read a lengthy book?
I don't think it was either of those things. I think it was just a lack of knowledge, just not
Mm-hmm.
really knowing about the books. Like,
Right.
and I feel like, one of the things that I do think is a problem just overall within the Black community is that if you're not mainstream, if you're not approved by some white man and they
Mm-hmm.
said, well, you're good enough for us to invest in you, it's like us as Black people, we don't invest in ourselves
Right.
until we're told this is good enough, this has been approved, this is,
Mm-hmm.
Harper Collins think this is the best book in the world, so now you better read it, you better support
Right.
it. And so I it's heartbreaking, but I don't let it discourage me, because I
Mm-hmm.
know that I still have to do something then that is still going to get their attention.
Right.
And so I don't stop. I'm an ambitious person. I'm going to fix it. I'm going
Right.
to figure it out. So, and I think that that's what I did.
Right. And
But
that's that gift and that grind that you have that I love so much, is that you're not gonna be like, you know what, fuck it, I failed and
yeah, I'm not
I'll do
about
so,
that life.
I'll do so.
I'm not about that
so
life.
so you start doing these books and then you brand yourself. So as an
Hmm.
entrepreneur,
Yep.
how was that process for you? Because I know now you have like a whole team,
Yeah.
and how was that? Because I know this from my side that
Yeah.
having a team isn't easy
It
at
is
all.
not.
It's probably
But
the hard.
one of the things that I really loved about you when I was even around your team is that they're dedicated, and
Mm-hmm.
they share your mission.
Yes.
So it's like, they understand what it is that you're bringing to the table, what you're bringing to the community, and they get that. So
Mm-hmm.
like I was really able to appreciate that. And I even asked you, remember we had a
Yes.
conversation, I
Yes.
was like, where can I find team members? Like because it was such a hard process, but
Yes.
we are there. We are definitely there. I have a wonderful team, and I always credit them in every interview that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I definitely give them their props, because they write their asses off.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but they take direction very well. They respect my feedback, and they apply it. So
Yes.
I'm grateful for that,
Yes.
for
What do you
sure.
think? What do you think the hardest part, just being a Black woman, was
Hmm.
for you to be able to start this brand and be consistent with the brand?
Wow. Well, the hardest part for me was learning to get over the fact that whatever it is that I'm doing is just not for everyone. And I
Mm.
think that was just me in general, where like I had to learn how to deal with rejection just
Yes.
overall, not just with the business aspect, but also in my personal life, where it's like, okay, if someone doesn't like something, I don't need to chastise them for it. It's just not their cup of tea. i
Agree.
rather I'd rather someone, purchase my books or, flip through my magazine because they're genuinely interested.
Yes.
Because it's only when that happens that you'll see, that domino effect where people will be
Mm-hmm.
more likely to share. Then it will be an increase in word of mouth. And,
Yes.
just people will be excited about it versus them feeling coerced into supporting you. And it's like, well, I'm just doing this because you're my friend. I'm just
Uh-huh.
doing this because you're a Black woman. I'm just doing
Yes.
this because of the color of your skin. Um, and if you've noticed, like even with the magazine, I try to stay I try to stay on the back burner a lot. You
Yeah.
know, I most of my writers, they're not African American. They
Okay.
are Caucasian women. We have an Indian young lady. So it's a very diverse team,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, we do put them at the forefront because we want people to see, like, you know, our team is diverse. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and don't just look at this magazine and think that you have to support it just because we're black owned or because it's a black magazine. Like,
Right.
you know, our writing is coming from different perspectives and different avenues and different opportunities or different vantage points, just overall, you know. So it's
Yeah.
a journey when you're flipping through the publication.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, you know, just going back to what your original question, I think that we just really need to learn as business owners to take to not take rejection so personally.
That's the. If I gotta say one thing, that is the truth. And I think a lot of times as business owners, it's your baby. You
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
And no one, even on the, even people who share the vision, they share the mission. They don't understand pre them how hard
yeah,
it was for you to be
yeah,
vulnerable and open
yeah.
yourself up to this experience.
That is
You know what I
exactly
mean?
true.
Like when
Yes.
I first started Courtney's Corner, it was this. Probably
Yeah.
even a little bit worse because I'm not worse, but I literally did this in my grandmother's kitchen
Hmm.
on a busted Toshiba laptop, and I did this, and that's how Courtney's Corner was birthed. To see it full
Mm.
circle
Yeah.
was tough because I'm like you, like when people rejected me or people originally was like, oh, I don't want to be part of the team no more. I took it personally because I'm
Yeah.
like, well, what did I do? You know what I mean? And now
Mm.
realizing, like you said, that there's everything is not for everyone, and you
Yeah.
have to be able to respect the fact that everybody has their own journey. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And they take whatever they can from that moment and they utilize it in their next venture. Um,
Absolutely.
for you, what could you have seen yourself doing if the moment didn't present itself to you to be an author?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a neurologist. And then, which is so weird. Like, I wanted to be a neurologist. And then, you know, my cousin, she would tell me like how much schooling was involved and all these other things. And I was like, all right, maybe not, you know. And then after that, I was infatuated with psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I was not you know, was not an entrepreneur right now, I would more than likely, you know, have gotten my master's in psychology and would have been doing therapy. But
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of therapy. I'm definitely pro therapy. You know, we're even going to be talking about different stigmas, you know, in the fall issue. And one of those stigmas is the African American community feeling as though therapy is not necessary, you know, in
Mm-hmm.
their day to day. And it is. It
Right.
is. And we're diving deep. Like we're talking about, you know, scolding your children when they're younger, and you know how we as African Americans have kind of taught our children or taught our kids that, you know, love and pain are lateral.
Right.
And, you know, and that's why, you know, as we grow up, we kind of associate the two as
Right.
being equal. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, you know, when someone hurts us or when we're in a relationship and we're being physically abused or mentally abused, we think it's normal. It's like, okay, this is, you know,
Right.
my
Right.
mom used to beat me, my dad used to beat me, and I know
Right.
they loved me. So
Yep.
maybe, you know, maybe John over here is slapping me 2 days from Sunday, but he loved
He
me.
loved me. Right. Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
But
And like, and
yes,
that, yes. And I think, and I want to even go back just a little bit. I know you were saying like people not supporting the book. I just feel like what also could be happening is that people are not willing to accept what has happened to them. So
right,
when they read these things, they're like,
right.
"Damn, I'm not ready to face this. I'm not
Mhm.
ready to face my inner child or
Yeah.
my inner past, or
Yep.
this is happening to me right now. So I don't want to
Mhm.
read about it because again, that makes it real. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And
That's true.
we live in the facade of this is not happening. This is not real. Like you were saying, he loves me. So yeah, he could beat me, but I
Mhm.
associate that with love. So he
Right.
beat me, but he loves me. So I'm going to stick around and do this. You know what I mean?
The funny
Uh,
thing about relationship books is that people want the advice.
mm-hmm.
People want the advice. That's why it's such a lucrative niche. It's
Yeah,
like your relationships, you can have 50 million relationship coaches, and each of those coaches can still earn a lucrative income because the niche is just so it's necessary.
that's true.
People want to know about relationships because everyone is just going in so blindly.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're not really taught, how to maintain and manage relationships. A lot of us, we learn as we go.
That's true.
And so, they want the advice. And it's better to pick up a book and read in the corner of your home and just say, you
Mm-hmm.
know what, I'm taking this advice, I'm seeing this now, versus attending a relationship seminar. And you know why you're there. You know why the lady next to you is there. Somebody's gonna start crying when the speaker starts talking about physical
Mm-hmm.
violence. So she getting beat on at home. So
Yes.
it's like, you know, they want the information, and it's not to say that the books, don't do well. They didn't get me a house in the hills.
Mm-hmm.
However, they did what they were supposed to do, but I want them to do more.
Right.
I want women to really, really read these books and understand the themes that are tied in between each page.
I
I,
agree.
I
I hear
do
you.
that.
I hear you. Guys, before we continue, please share the live. Put up some hearts. If you have any questions for Miss Lisa, put them in the comments and we'll read them off. Don't be shy. Share the live, share the live, share the live. Let's get more people in here because what she's dropping right
Wait,
now is
how
what
do
we
I
call
share the live?
jewels. She's dropping jewels. So don't be afraid to share this live, guys. As many people as we can get in here will be amazing just so we can hear everything that needs to be said. You don't know who or who needs to hear this. Okay, so then you say to yourself, you know what? The books aren't doing as well as I want them to do. Let me move forward into this new venture of
Mm-hmm.
She's Single magazine.
Yes.
Okay, why did you want to do this? What inspired you to want to make a magazine?
She's single. um, so here's what happened. So the story was she's single. I was actually working at a law firm and I hated my job. And
Mm-hmm.
then one day they fired me.
Oh my God.
And yes, I was just home. I was home like every day. And I'm like, okay, it gave me more time really to just like focus on my business. So I
Yeah.
wasn't really like hurting. I still had my books and I was still doing well with it. And then I
Mm-hmm.
was also vending at events and things like that as well.
Okay.
So one day I was home and I'm watching like a whole bunch of documentaries because I love documentaries. I'll watch any documentary. So I
Mm-hmm.
was watching the Hugh Hefner one, and he was talking about his journey with Playboy. And
Yeah.
as he's speaking, I'm just like, oh, I love that idea. Like, I love the concept. I love how, he went about doing it. I love how he took, the magazine and then it ventured off into the Playboy bunny costumes. Then it ventured
Uh-huh.
off into the events. There were so many different moving parts. And I admired him for that. And then I thought about the magazine and I was like, I need a title. And I'm like, well, I'm single and I know a lot of other women are single. And I do talk about being an independent millennial woman and I want to share this story. And so
Mm-hmm.
I started working on the magazine. And at first, I did like a little rough cover, like just something regular. And then I started posting it in like some Facebook groups just to get a feel,
Yeah.
how people would react. And some people were just like, oh, I'd flip the pages to that. That looks interesting. I was thinking like it was mixed feedback. But
Of
then
course.
I did want to take it more seriously. And I was like, I really think that there's space in the market for something like this. And
Mm-hmm.
next thing I know, I was looking for a cover girl, shot my cover girl, and we are here today. And we are now only about 4 weeks before we go to newsstands.
Oh my God, I know you have to be like excited and scared and nervous all at
I'm
the same
super
time.
super scared, super scared.
I definitely want to ask you this only
Mm.
because, for guys who don't know who haven't been tuning in, I and my girlfriend was a part of this magazine.
Yes, yes.
So you'll see more about that as things get, closer. But some people were even questioning me because I'm like, yeah, I'm a part of a magazine when we finally were able to premiere it, and they were like, she's single. Why would you be a part of that when you're in a relationship? So can you
Oh.
explain the premise of what your magazine is about? Because that's probably where the confusion is. The title kind of deters everything else from, you know.
I do get that a lot. You know, there are some people who feel like, well, if it's, do I have to be single to be on the cover? Do I have to be single to be featured? So when we're talking about single, we're talking about even if you're in a relationship now. At one point in your life, you were single.
Right.
You know, even if you're in a relationship, and God forbid the relationship, you know, doesn't work out, or one thing that people have to always remember is that even though you are committed to someone, you're still an individual. And
That's
there's
true.
still things that you need to work on in order for your relationship to continue to grow and continue to be prosperous. You're not, even, you know, when you're going into the relationship and you're going in and saying, well, you know what, I have a team mindset. That's great. But you still have to be able to self-reflect. You still have to be able to take accountability. You still
Right.
have to be able to learn. There's different techniques and there's different things that you yourself have to know and practice and be mindful of, whether you're single or not. So with the publication, we want to highlight Black couples. It's very important that we do that because we don't want people to feel like, well, Black couples don't exist. You know, when you look into the media, or you look at mainstream media, most of the stuff that's being promoted, and there's nothing wrong with what I'm about to say. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just, you know, they're promoting mostly interracial relationships. And
Yes.
it's kind of like making it seem as though, well, you know, when a Black man is famous, he don't really date Black women anymore,
Right.
you
That's
know,
true.
and it's just like, well, famous or not, I really think that it's important that we highlight African American couples, you know, because we want our readers, even if they're single women, to not get discouraged and feel like,
Yes.
well, you can't find a Black man because if you look at the TV, every Black man is with, like, you know, a Latina, or he's with some other female, whatever the case is. No. Flip the magazine, you will see that there are brothers who are in love with us. Okay. And
Right.
then, you know, we have different segments and different avenues and different dynamics that we really just want to touch on. And
Yeah.
we wanted to make it very fun. You know, we
Can you
wanted
talk
and
about just
insightful.
some of those segments that you have? Are they like cultural based? Do you have like social issues in there? What type of segments are you touching on in those in your magazine?
Here's the thing. We're not going to be touching on political issues and social issues within the publication. We
Okay.
do touch on these things on our website, and if we're going to be moving, you know, as far as our pageants and our events go, we do have keynote speakers who are going to be coming on board to give the necessary talks. We're going to have breakout sessions, and one of them is called, I think it's a man-made men, or something of the sort, or you know, so we're definitely going to be teaching and, of course, addressing social issues. But for the
Okay.
publication itself, we're heavily focused on, you know, putting together quality relationship articles, teaming up with life coaches, teaming up with therapists who can give, you know, amazing advice that, you know, a lot of African American women are not getting because we're not going to therapy.
Right. Right.
So, you know, they can get this advice now from these licensed coaches. And like I said, we're keeping it light. We're keeping it fun. There's fashion finds in there. We're doing amazing interviews. I've actually wrapped up an interview with Miss Melissa Ford. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her.
I've heard of her.
Yeah. So, you know, we did interview Melissa Ford, and one of the things that, you know, she was happy about when speaking with us is that we were looking to change the narrative because, you know, every time she's mentioned in the media, she's tied to a bunch of men or
Right.
she's seen as promiscuous. Meanwhile, you know, her ventures differ so greatly from that. You know, so she's doing so many other wonderful things, and we were able to talk about that and highlight that for her with her as a Black woman. So these are also things that we're looking to do as well.
Okay. I forgot my, hold on. I was about to give you my next question and something happened. Okay. Can you see me?
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay. So I actually like that. I love the fact that you are willing to dive in to just being able to accept yourself as a black woman. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or as a woman in general. You know, I love
Yeah.
the fact that you include so many different diversities and everything is kind of like mixed in, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not just about one culture. Because I believe as a whole we go through a lot of the same things.
I do agree on
Yeah, and I believe
some
just
level.
some, just
Yeah,
some.
some
But
level.
I love the fact that you're able to include everybody. You know what I mean? And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that's one of the biggest things in trying to do. Hey guys, coming in. That's one of the things for me in trying to have a team or like empower people is that, you know, as much as I know that at the end of the day, I have to empower my people. She is awesome. She's fucking awesome. I am trying to empower my people. You know what I mean? I'm trying to empower young black men because at the end of the day, a lot of people are not trying to do that, as we can see now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get what you were saying there, but I love the fact that hey, you can come on here, girl. Come on, come on. I know you not like I know you may not get it, you may not understand it, but I'm gonna give you your time to put your spin on that.
Yeah.
When you first started getting writers, was
Mm-hmm.
your main thing trying to keep it diverse, or these are the people that were kind of flocking over to you?
I'm gonna be really honest with you, right? When I first came on, when I started this project, I initially was like, I do want African American writers. I think that it would be best because they can speak to our struggles.
Yes.
However, I put everything out there, and this is the thing too.
See,
I
don't be
remember,
nice. Don't be nice.
I
Say
wasn't.
it like you fucking mean it. Don't be nice.
I
Ain't no sugarcoating on
remember.
here.
Nah. See, Hove said it best. He said they'd rather work for the white man than to come to work for me.
Mm,
Right?
the
And
truth.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Almost every person who came on board with this publication and was serious about staying were not African American women.
Mm-hmm. And
And
it's sad. It's
yes,
sad, but
yeah, but it is what it is, and I I still remain grateful for the women that we do have, and
mm-hmm.
then the few African American women that did come on, they didn't really last long. I think because they I don't know what their expectations were, as
Mm-hmm.
far as what we're working on, because I did have a particular young lady. She was working more with the African American literature side of things, and I think it's really important that we do highlight Black authors,
Mm-hmm.
and mostly because not a lot of Black authors make it mainstream, but
Right.
that doesn't mean they're not talented.
Yeah.
But so, one of the things that I did ask this particular young lady to do is to make sure that she's reaching out to as many authors as she possibly can. And they're on Facebook. They're on there
Mm-hmm.
because I'm on there. So
Right.
I'm like, do your due diligence. We want them in this magazine. We want to shine a light on them.
Yeah.
And I think her qualm with that was, well, she wanted to focus on, I guess, primarily urban fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want only urban fiction authors. And I'm
Right.
like, well, I get it. That's what your interest. That's where your interests lie. But we need to cast that net wider. You
Right.
know. And so there was like this push pull, and eventually it just didn't work out. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to take direction. You have to be able to follow directions. And even though you have a particular interest, we're looking out for the interest of the
Of the
publication.
publication, right?
It's not an individual thing. Um, so, and they don't like to hear that. They don't like
Yes.
to have those conversations. And
Trust
then
me.
yeah, and then some of the other issues is like, I guess with a lot of the women that come on board, we're kind of close in age, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, you're young and you're the owner and you're telling me what to do. And it's like, well, yeah, we have the same 24 hours in a day, but I chose to do other things with my 24 hours. So
I
now
hear you.
you work for me. So I need you to understand what I'm
Where I'm
telling you to
coming
do.
from, right? Where the fuck I'm coming from?
Like, yeah, but it gets rough, but I definitely handle it, and I'm not afraid to replace and move on.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest and the hardest part is
Mm.
you get strong-minded people who are who you kind of like in
Yeah.
regards to what they have to bring to the table. But a lot of times, like you were saying, they want to be able to be the leader. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like you
Yeah.
have to understand that this
Yeah.
is you're part of the team, but this is
Yeah.
mine. You're under my direction. Like, and that's not a
Yeah.
bad thing. I'm not trying to say I'm a bully. I'm not trying to say that you're beneath me. But this
Right.
is
Right. Exactly.
you're under specific direction, and
Mhm.
you lead with every department that we set you to, or you want to be a part of. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, this umbrella belongs to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
respecting and understanding that, and knowing that that's not a diss, that
Mhm.
is not belittling.
Absolutely.
It's just what it is,
I agree.
and it's hard for people to get that. So I understand that, that part of things. So where do you see yourself at right now? Like your climb. And I spoke a lot about this
Mhm.
part. Like, where do you feel that you are in your process of climbing to the top?
Um. I think we're doing really, really well. I'm super excited. I was telling one of my friends, because my friends, they're always asking, they're like, your birthday's coming up. What are you going to do for your birthday? I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do for my birthday. I'm going to probably go downtown, rent a nice hotel, go pick up my magazine on the newsstands, and go back to the hotel. Because my sweat, blood, and tears went into that publication. So we don't even have, I'm not thinking really about anything else. So,
Mm-hmm.
with the summer issue coming out, we're going to be wrapping up the fall issue shortly. And we have this huge event that's happening in November that I am so excited for. And I am more than positive. You see this dog behind me?
I didn't until
She's
just
just
now.
like, because she just like came up on me and she was just like in my ear. um, but yeah, the pageant is coming up, and we're just gonna just focus our attention there. We actually we're working with Stacey Dash to have her as one of the judges, and I was like, her team is really interested in the magazine, just
Mm-hmm.
overall. And I was like, I'm happy that she's interested. I was a little leery because I'm like, well, you know
We know
recently,
Stacey. We
yeah,
know
we know
Stacey Dash.
Stacey, like we know the stuff that Stacey has said about the Black community. It has not sat well with a lot of people in the Black community. So it's like, okay, I was like, well, girl,
Like,
let me tell you
I'm.
something. I was like, let me tell you something. If you are gonna be in the magazine or gonna be at this event, you are classifying yourself as a Black woman. Like,
Facts.
Black woman. All right, you're gonna sit with these judges, you're gonna sit with our cover girls, and you're a Black woman. So don't
Yep.
be coming up in here talking about you white and gonna have everybody going crazy at this event. So
Yeah.
that's definitely happening. So I just think, honestly, like by the end of the year, it's just going to be a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that I'm walking in my purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited. I'm scared and excited, but
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to it.
Are you now doing this all full time? Like, this is your
Yeah.
sole thing?
Yeah.
How hard was that transition for you? Because now I'm speaking about this on like a business side. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are scared to take that leap just because of the financial,
Yeah.
aspects of things. So how was it for you transitioning from a full-time job, which we all know you probably hate it because that wasn't your purpose,
Yeah, exactly.
to
Yeah.
something where you love, but financially it can be staggering.
It can, yes. One of the things that I can say, as an African American business owner, is that we have to know how to delegate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that one of the fears, some of the fears that we do acquire as business owners is that we feel like we have to do everything by ourselves.
Yeah.
So because we do that, we get burned out very quickly, or we just don't think that we're not confident enough to really get things going.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I really, really believe is that if you're starting something, whether it's a business or a YouTube or anything like that, it should be lucrative within maybe the first month
Right.
of you telling people about it. So if you say, okay, well, I want to be a relationship coach, and I want to sell ebooks or something like that, and you start putting the word out a little bit in a month. In a month, I feel you should at least have one sale. Someone
Mm-hmm.
should show you that what you're doing is lucrative
Right.
before you go and you dump all of your security and your finances into it to grow it and scale it, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
It does.
So, a lot of people, they come up with an idea, and to them, it's a great idea,
Mm-hmm.
but is the world gonna like it?
Right.
Is the
Right.
world gonna be receptive of it? Is the
Mm-hmm.
world gonna want to buy it? Not
Right.
your friends and your family members, because that's not your target audience.
Yep.
They ain't going. That's not who you're selling to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when I did, the bootleg cover, and I put it in Facebook, I wanted to see reactions. I was like,
Right.
and I even sent the cover to like some of my friends, and I never told them it was mine. I just told them, oh, I found this new magazine on this Kindle platform. Would you guys read it? And a lot of them wrote me back and was like, yeah, I would read that. I would definitely read that. So because I was getting that positive responses, I was like, all right, this is something that I should dump my money into.
Yes.
So there's that. And honestly, when you're doing what you love, it doesn't feel like work, and you're going to just keep doing it, especially when the money starts coming in.
Yes.
When the money starts coming in, you get motivated to
Keep
move a
pushing. Right.
mountain. Yeah, like to move a mountain, because all right, if somebody's going to pay me, $800, I know I can make 1,000.
Right.
So I need to go now and go make that 1,000.
That's
So
true.
even if you got to go push a car, you're gonna go make that 1,000, because it can happen.
Right.
You already doing something.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And one thing that definitely want to add to that is you need to know how to be financially literate.
Yes.
A lot of times we start these businesses and we don't realize, number one, just how financially draining it can be.
It is.
Starting up, having your own business is not easy. It is not wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It is not, fairy dust and unicorns. It is hard work. It is blood. When you talk about blood and tears,
yes,
that is real tears. Like,
it is.
Real
it
tears.
is.
Because there's some days you're like, I don't even know how I'm going to pay my bills this month because I'm not too sure where I am. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So always kind of starting with the foundation is something that I've definitely learned. Starting with a foundation, knowing that at the end of the day, if this business does not work, I still have money to pay my bills. I still got things saved, so that way I'm not homeless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And committing to the push. I feel like a lot of times people get discouraged, and then it's like, I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. People didn't like it, and like you were saying, this is where my issue was at as a business owner, was realizing that your family and your friends are not your audience.
No.
You know what I mean? And I think that was my biggest, when I first started Courtney's Corner doing season 2, and my traction was a little bit like this. I'm like, where my friends at? Where my family? What am I supporting? And not realizing that those are not people that you're supposed to be reaching out to. And
exactly.
If you stay in that box, you're going to fail. Period.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you're not hurting anybody's feelings by saying and speaking your truth. It's just understanding and knowing that you have to be broader than just your circle.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
I definitely agree.
So how was it for you when you first started and you were just like, damn, my family and my friends aren't supporting me? Like, how did you kind of break out of that and realize I need to have an audience wider and broader than that?
I didn't want their support. I know that
Mm.
sounds crazy. But the only thing that I wanted at one point was, if I posted something on Facebook, just share it, I guess. If it's a flyer or something, just share
Yeah.
it. That was probably like my biggest issue. But other than that, like I didn't expect my friends to like buy my books
Mm.
or, even buy the magazine. I even have friends who, some of them, they do go and they buy it and I refund them. And I'm like,
Mm.
I'll just give it to you. And the reason I do that is because, realistically speaking, I feel, and I may be wrong, but I developed this mindset because I just know that I don't want anyone to do it for me because they
Right.
know me or because they doing me a favor. I
Mm-hmm.
want you to do it for me or do it and support it because you genuinely like it. You read that synopsis on the back of that book and you was just like,
This is
"Ooh,
it, right?
this is
This
it.
is it.
Like, let me
Yep.
read this." Because then when you do that, then you're gonna give that book to your other friend.
Mm-hmm.
Then that friend gonna give it to the other friend. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But if you're doing it as a favor to me, you're gonna buy the book and it's gonna sit in your house and it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna collect dust and it's not gonna move. It's not gonna do anything. And the $10 that you gave me as my friend, I'm gonna spend that. That's
Yeah.
gone,
It's done.
but it's done. But the money that I could have earned from the word of mouth and to keep it going,
Mm-hmm.
that's the residual income I'm looking for.
Yes.
So it didn't bother me. I
Mm-hmm.
honestly, even when I went to events and people used to come up to the table and they're like, "Oh, I want to buy your book. You're a sister, you're a writer, da da
Yes.
da da." And I was just like, "Girl, don't buy it because I'm black. Like, read the books. Like, read the back of the books.
Yep.
Fall in love with the synopsis. Because I didn't write these books because of the color of my skin. I wrote these books because I have a story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm creative. And I know that if you read the books, you would love it. You're going to
Yeah.
want to share it.
The truth.
So,
That's the
you know,
truth.
yeah. Because the next thing you know, they're going to buy the book and then go home and be like, "Yeah, girl, I saw this black author and I bought her book, because she black." Then they're going to just stick it on the shelf and it will never see the light of day again.
I agree.
Like,
I agree. Now, for you, especially in this day and age, can you just touch on promotion? I feel like for us in this generation now, everybody is so gun ho on thinking that social media is your main source. When in reality, footwork and going out and touching the streets and meeting the people in reality is never going to be any different. It's always going to be consistent. It's always going to be a bigger deal than just waiting on people on social media to support you.
mm-hmm. Here's the thing with marketing. And I was saying this to one of my friends the other day. I was like, when you look at a company like Pepsi, they put, I think, about $65 million into marketing almost every year or every
Mm-hmm.
quarter or something like that. And you would think, Pepsi, why are you still marketing?
Right.
Everybody and their mother know Pepsi.
Yep.
But you know who Pepsi is marketing to? The fetuses,
Yeah.
the babies that ain't even been made yet,
That's
the
true.
baby that's cooking. So that when
Yep.
that baby come out in the hospital and the mother is sitting in the room and that baby's growing up and that baby is in their stroller and that baby is getting pushed, there's a billboard somewhere where he gonna see
He gonna see
Pepsi.
Pepsi, right?
And as he get older, he gonna keep seeing Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing with marketing is that you cannot limit yourself to one platform or
Right.
one avenue of marketing. And marketing and brand awareness go hand in hand. And I keep telling people, I'm like, if you think that you're just going to market just to make money, you're doing it wrong. If you don't have, let's say you're promoting something, a particular thing, like if you're gonna have, like, I'm gonna have the beauty pageant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell myself that for 3 weeks, we're going to do heavy social media campaign marketing. That means that I have to pump at least $100 a day into that marketing to feed that so that I can actually see something come back.
That's true.
But I can't forget about the magazine itself and say, oh, you know what, just because I'm promoting this particular event means that I'm not going to still increase brand awareness for the publication itself.
That's true.
That's where we get a little confused, because
truth.
then we think, well, if I'm going to promote the publication, I want to make money. No, you're promoting the publication so that people know about it. Yep. So that when you do have something that's going on in relative to this publication, people already, they don't have to go Google and search and whatever. They already know.
They already know, right?
They already know about the publication because of your brand awareness. They know of your brand. So anything that's coming out of your brand, it's automatically, oh, yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, I want to do that. I like that. I know about that brand. I may not have bought the magazine, but I'll damn sure go to the event.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, so brand awareness, and this is another thing that we're trying to teach business owners, you know, that we want to bring into the publication. We want to teach them the importance of, don't think of putting your ad in the magazine as, I got to make money back. I got to make money back. Think of it as, the more you do it and the more people see you, the more your brand is becoming recognizable.
Right.
So when you do, even if somebody, if you go to the supermarket right now and you pick this magazine up off the supermarket shelf and you flipping it, and inside you see an advertisement for, let's say, a book bag called Nexus or something like that, right? You see the advertisement, you're thinking, all right, whatever, that's just an ad, flip. But then let's say you go into, you know, a store and you see the book bag in the store. You're more likely to buy that book bag over another book bag, just off a simple fact that that brand is already in your mind based on the awareness from the magazine.
Right.
So it's a lot of work, you know, to really get your business out there. But there's a lot of moving parts, and people think that if they stick to one part, they're just going to become millionaires overnight. And that's the problem, you know. And I blame drop shippers for giving people this false idea of, you know, overnight success. It's
that's like, the truth. Yep.
They go on YouTube and they give out all this advice, and, you know, it's clickbait. It's clickbait. Yep. They're not giving you the truth.
It's clickbait for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's how they make their money. They make their money from YouTube, and they make their money selling those guides or those webinar, whatever, where they literally just continue to, you know, scratch the surface. They don't tell you exactly what to do. They just continue to scratch the surface, because that's what's going to keep bringing you back.
That's true. So what inspires you to keep pushing through all of the things that you've gone through so far? What inspires you? What keeps you motivated?
The babies I have not had yet, and my nieces and my nephews. I want generational wealth, and I want it to the point where, you know, the children in my family do not have to write cover letters.
Right.
You know, I hated doing it, you know, doing cover letters, writing resumes, doing all this crap. There's times when I regret even having gone to college. So I want my kids to have a choice and say, you know what, Mom, I want to take over the business, or even if this is not their, you know, their cup of tea, at least I'll have people in my network that can assist them to do what they want to do.
Okay.
But yeah, they ain't gonna be writing no cover letters.
I hear that. Well, speaking about children, unborn children, we have to know, are you dating?
Hell no. Absolutely not. No.
Hell no. You answered that real fast. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's good. So when is this magazine out? Where can people go get it? I know I'm excited. I can't wait for the release of this. So tell us that information, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are pushing with a strong 50,000 circulation. So we're going about 10,000 in 5 states. So that's New York, California, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Georgia. Okay. And those are the states that we're starting in. And each state, we're more than likely going to be placed in a particular area. And It's literally up to Barnes and Nobles and the supermarkets and things like that on which areas they want to put us. But
Okay.
9 times out of 10, we're going to be put into a large populated area. We'll get the actual zip codes, I think maybe like a week before our on sale date.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, we're definitely pushing for August. We're locked and loaded. Everything's signed off on.
Mm-hmm.
We are ready to go. The printer, everything's sent to the printer. Everything is done. So yeah, we just got our BiPAD numbers, and we have our ISSN number, so you can also find us in libraries.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So before I get to my ending stuff, tell people where they can find you if they want to support your stuff, websites or all those good things, so that way they can make this bigger and better for you.
Absolutely. So She's Single Magazine is available at www.shesinglemag.com. And if you're interested in being a pageant contestant, our entry is open now. So you can go to the website as well, and you can go under the Miss Single USA tab and download the application, fill it out, send it back.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're interested in being a vendor at the event, the vendor applications are there as well. Sponsorship applications are there as well. I do recommend, sponsoring the event, just simply because we have celebrities tied to the event and we're having press at the event. So it's always good to, have your logo or anything like that directly printed, on anything that we're pushing for the pageant, just overall.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, that's about it. Other than that, just enjoy the articles. We write these articles. We love doing it. And a lot of the articles that are on the website, some of them are not in the publication because, everything got to be fresh.
Yeah.
So, what we do is we do give people a little idea, exactly what they'll be getting.
Okay. Well, thank you. You see, an hour flies by.
I know.
An hour flies by.
It does.
Thank you once again. Thank you so much for being a part of this mini series that the Courtney's Corner brand has going on. Thank you for your constant support. You have no idea how much it means to me when I know that I can hit you up at any time and you're down to be a part. You're down to support. It means everything.
Absolutely. And don't forget to tell people that they can find Courtney's Corner in the publication as well.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that.
Right here. Get you right there. All
yes,
right,
guys. So
right there.
The brand is in the publication.
Right.
Me and my girlfriend are in the publication. So I'm excited for you guys to be a part of that and read the articles and take what you need and pass it on to other people to make this bigger and better than ever. We are all in this together. So once again, Lise, thank you so much for just coming through, rocking out with me for this hour. Guys, like I said before, we are here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. one-on-one with Courtney Starks. No hold bar. Don't come here trying to be censored because I'm not that guy. I love you. I thank you for watching. Lisa, I'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Have a great night, you guys.
Have a good night.
Bye.